You are listening to the Lanterns Radio Network, where Americans come together to illuminate the truth. Turn it up loud and proud until the knob breaks off. Lanterns, illuminating the truth.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Defenders of American Exceptionalism on the Lanterns Media Network. My name is Dylan Lyles. That guy over there is Aaron Priest.
That's me.
That is him. And at least he sounds like him tonight, folks. I apologize for my voice in advance. I was laid up with the flu better part of last week. Now, I guess I have laryngitis. So at least I have some kind of a voice, even if I do slightly resemble Sling Blade.
That was a great movie, by the way.
That's what I hear. I don't.
Billy Bob Thornton rocked out.
I've heard it was a good movie. I've never had a chance to actually watch it myself. So
what?
Yeah, I don't get.
Oh
out.
my!
Yeah, I know. Go ahead. I'll wait.
Are you ISIS?
No.
Oh my gosh!
I do have facial hair, but I'm not ISIS. No.
It's like going to a steakhouse and ordering shrimp.
When the hell does a steakhouse actually offer shrimp?
There are some that do.
The hell are you going? This is why I don't go to Kentucky.
Yeah. Well, anywho, before I take us off into tangents about food and fatness.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Yeah. Let's stick with happy stories about the country that used to be bad guys and then became good guys and now apparently are bad guys again, and half the country says that they're great and half the country says that they're evil, and everybody hates each other because nobody actually knows what's going on. So yeah, Russia
has to be Russia. Yes, folks, we got an awesome show starting off with Russia. Everyone's talking Russia.
Well, of course, the 1980s called and they want their foreign policy back.
They do.
Remember hearing that back? Oh, I have to jump in a time machine and go so far back to 2012.
Oh man, I don't even
2012.
How old were you? Were you even alive back then? 20?
Barely.
I couldn't even tie my shoes. Not by myself.
That's what alcohol does. But
yeah, that was a whole other reason I couldn't tie my shoes. It was a rough year for me, man.
It really was. I think I was probably in the same situation. Flip my sobriety coin now.
I was going to say the the upside to it is from that moment on there was no place left to go but up. So
yeah. You'd think. I had a lot of lateral movement for a while, but
you know what they say, lateral movement is always better than going down. So
I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, we're going to talk about Russia, man. Russia is on everybody's topic so far. What we decided we wanted to talk about, and everybody's kind of touched on it here and there, is that wonderful little Russian ship that's been kind of floating off of the outside our coast, on my coast, as a matter of fact. Those of you that are on the East Coast, the Viktor Leonov. That's the closest to Russian you're going to hear me do right now. Has been hanging off our coast approximately about 19 miles, give or take, from land. Just kind of hanging out, patrolling back and forth. I mentioned it with Aaron a little bit earlier. It being prior Navy, this messes with me a little bit, and I could be purely speculating. Well, could be. I am purely speculating. Excuse me. Michael Flynn, who up until a couple days ago was the acting chief of security or something. Wasn't that what his title was? What was his official title here?
It was,
Hold on. I'm looking. You think I'd be better prepared for this by now? Yeah, it's a National Security Advisor. That's what I said. Yeah. That's exactly what I said. Don't correct me.
You just said security guy.
That was halfway there. Shut up.
Well, no, the security guy is the guy that pats you down at the airport or doesn't let you into the warehouse because you have a cell phone. The National Security Advisor is the guy that advises the president on national security. There's a slight difference. Probably like a $2 an hour pay difference.
Pay difference?
And a different uniform.
Maybe.
No, let's just say, hypothetically.
So you're saying he's not at the same level as the guy who checks your ticket when you walk into the movie theater?
He's like his supervisor.
Okay. All right. Acting supervisor. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Flynn only lasted 26 days. Which is
why he's now the supervisor at the movie theater.
Which is why he's the supervisor, right. Well, he only lasted to 26 days for, quote, inadvertently, end quote, giving the VP, Vice President Pence, and other people, quote, incomplete info, end quote, regarding his communications with Russian ambassador. A lot of folks are speculating that his conversations involved something to do with the sanctions that were kind of put against Russia by President Trump.
I love how they call it incomplete information, just like they do all these different phrases that they use to church up the word lie.
Yeah. God forbid we actually own up and take accountability and responsibility for the things we actually do. No, we've got to
or alternative facts.
Yes, we've got to change the name so we don't sound like horrible people.
Yeah.
Or, I'm sorry if you lied. Then just say you lied.
Yeah.
I hate this mistruths and misspoke and shut up. You lied.
Yeah.
Pure and simple.
Well, and here's the thing with General Flynn is that the intelligence community had actually given several warnings beforehand that there was probably going to be an issue with him.
Well,
and apparently Trump didn't listen to him, which that's on him. So that's a mark in the negative for him. But Flynn's resignation likely wasn't that he just woke up one morning and was like, "Oh, well, I didn't tell the full truth and I feel bad about it." No, it was that Trump probably sat him down and said, "Look, you lied." And
so you're saying he wasn't suddenly gripped with a conscience.
Exactly. Well, and obviously now that he's president, he can't sit him down at a table and say, "You're fired," in front of a camera.
Wouldn't it have been funny if he did, though?
It would. It would be entertainment at its ultimate height.
Okay, complete sidebar.
With Washington.
Total sidebar for a second. If you were a part of Trump's cabinet and you were getting ready to get let go for any reason, please, would you not sit there and go, "Please, just say it. Just say it."
I wonder if there's...
I would be begging for it. I'd be like, "Dude, you've got to. It doesn't count unless you say it."
Is that trademarked by NBC or whatever network it was that carried that stupid show?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I never watched it.
I didn't either.
The closest I ever come to watching it was when they did a guest spot with him on Top Gear.
I've never watched it. I've never
been big into the whole reality TV thing, especially because it's never realistic.
It's never realistic. But anyway, no, just getting back to it, I just thought it was a little odd, personally. And again, I'm purely speculating on this, but General Flynn resigns. Bear in mind, slight sidebar on that, by the way, he also was let go under the Obama administration as well.
Yeah.
A lot of people tend to forget about that one. But
he's a Democrat.
Yes, he was the only Democrat honestly, that Trump picked.
Yeah, honestly, at this point, it doesn't matter what party you are. The people that are this diehard team-minded with, only the Republicans do good things for the people, or only Democrats do good things. No, they're both. And you know what? Sorry, you're going to hear it again. The special word of the day is because the two parties have basically become two different cheeks that cover the same, Yeah, I won't say it again because I know Dylan's going to get tired of bleeping me out at the end of the day.
Later. So, yeah, editing's going to be fun.
I'll be nice. And apparently, after last week, I'm grounded from impersonations because they're deemed wildly offensive. So I'll just sit over here and bite my tongue.
Yeah, you do.
Don't want to hurt no feelings now.
All right, now. Yeah, we're not all about that. But no, like I said, I just find it a little bit odd. My little, you can call it a conspiracy theory. You can call it whatever you want to, but
go full Alex Jones.
I would. I really wish with this horrible lack of a voice that I could do it better. And
you'd probably throw it all out.
Global ass, that's about the closest we can do on that. But in my best Alex Jones, I just find it a little bit odd.
And the truth is, there's no such thing as a coincidence. Oh, my God,
can I finish my thing, please? Thank you. I just find it odd that Michael Flynn has this conversation. The conversation with Russia is admitted. That's clear. Nobody's denying that. Now, what they talked about is a whole other story. But I find it odd that he has a conversation with Russia. The American intelligence community turns around and throws him under the bus and says, oh, by the way, he may have just jeopardized himself in a way that might have Russia, be able to blackmail him. He goes, oh, crap, I'm, in trouble. Everybody, president makes him resign, this, that, and the third. But after his conversation with Russia, suddenly, starting Tuesday, there's a Russian spy ship. I was in 30 miles outside of Connecticut around Tuesday, and has been now's moved down to out around Norfolk area in Virginia. Now it's about 17 miles outside of Virginia, and has been there for a couple of days just patrolling back and forth. I was in the Navy, y'all. A Russian spy ship, though they say they do this stuff all the time, and they do. That ship's not out there trying to actually collect anything, I don't believe. Personally, I think that ship is out there saying, hey, we're watching you. You're not alone in this. Basically they're trying to flex and say whatever was discussed, whatever General Flynn and the Russians had discussed, the Russians are now, I believe, trying to make sure that it follows through. That's what I think. I could be nuts, and I usually am, but that's my 2 cents on it. Yes, you may speak. Stop grinning. You can talk now. I
didn't want to interrupt.
Thank you. I got my point out. I didn't want you to get
your panties all in a wad.
Shut up.
Crybaby.
Oh.
Lay around and take a little bit of NyQuil, and all of a sudden, you're a diva. You go eat a Snickers.
Go eat a Snickers.
Well, as I was saying before I hurt someone's feelings again, there is no such thing as coincidence when it comes to stuff like this.
Nope.
Honestly, the way that they're going about this, I don't think they're out there trying to collect information. I think there are other ways that they could easily collect the information that they want to get. Obviously, if you listen to the DNC. But I think this is more of a message. I think this is their way of saying, we're here. I almost did the gay pride chant, but I think that's their way of just basically saying, we're here, and you need to acknowledge it.
Yeah.
So
they're definitely,
time will tell.
They definitely will, and like I said, it's this is the same thing like I was just mentioning. Is something was agreed upon, something was discussed, and they just want to make sure that, hey, we know what's going down, we're aware of it. We're aware of what's going on. There is another. I've heard some rattlings and wordings going through. There are rumors in the intelligence community that there might actually be a Russian mole in the White House, which would completely, screw everything all up.
Of course. Well, and the thing about that, too, is that the whole party mindset, like I was talking about earlier, is that, under Obama, supposedly Russia was no threat, no big deal, just ignore them, it's nothing. Now all of a sudden they're this horrible threat. All along they've been a threat.
Yep.
Whether they've been nice to us or not, they've been a very capable threat that we need to acknowledge and we need to pay attention to.
Yep. We just got we got complacent, pure and simple. There was a point where we as Americans wouldn't, wouldn't trust a Russian. As bad off as that sounds.
And it's the pendulum swing.
Yep.
Just like everything else, it's this mentality that it's all or nothing. And people don't want to acknowledge the fact that, well, hey, they are a potential threat. And no, we shouldn't go invade them and throw the first punch, but at the same time, we need to be prepared.
Yep.
And that's one of my favorite sayings is, in times of peace, prepare for war. Mm-hmm. And that's what we need. I mean, we have to be prepared. And that's why I'm glad that we have the Secretary of Defense that we do now, because he understands that.
Yes, sir.
But I mean, we need to be vigilant. We need to keep our heads on a swivel, and we need to actually pay attention to what's going on here. And we need to stop this groupthink crap where it's either, no, they're our friends, we need to give them a hug and pat them on the back, or no, they're evil and we need to wipe them out. We need to let go of this stuff.
Yeah, we need to take everything based off of the situation. That's one of our biggest issues, I think. We blanket everything in this giant sweeping motion, and it all has to fit underneath this umbrella. And that's not how it works. You have to take everything, everybody, at an individual situation and
case
go
by case
basis and go from there. And that's what you have to do. Period. End of story. Case closed. We're going to come back, folks, and I'm going to try and have another lozenge and see if I can get any bit of my voice back. You are listening to Defenders of American Exceptionalism on the Lanterns Radio Network. And welcome back, everybody. You are listening to Defenders of American Exceptionalism on the Lanterns Media Network. I'm Dylan, believe it or not.
And I am Aaron.
That is Aaron, yes. He's not sick. I'm struggling to get a voice.
Depends on who you ask. Maybe in the head.
No, I would say we're not talking mental here. We're not talking mental here. Before we continue on, please forgive my voice. You happen to miss the first segment for whatever reason. You might be messed up in the head too. I don't know. I'd been laid up sick, and I've got a little bit of laryngitis, so that's why I sound slightly like Sling Blade. So
quit apologizing. I feel like I'm talking with Alex Jones here.
Globalist. With the fluoride in the water.
Turning the frogs gay.
Oh, good Lord.
Perverts at the TSA. Oh, how fun it would be just to spend a couple hours with him around a bonfire.
Be the only ones drunk, have him sober. That would be really funny.
Oh, wow.
But speaking of meeting people.
Special people.
Yeah, special people. That's not a great segue, but I will be, let me try this again. I will be going to CPAC 2017 this year, representing the Defenders of American Exceptionalism with the Lanterns Media Network. Aaron, unfortunately, will not be able to attend, so we're leaving the pretty one behind, and the smart one is going, and we're going to be on Radio Row, broadcasting live.
The air quotes are flying so heavy right now.
I know. Thank God this is audio and not visual, because this would be embarrassing. And by then, I promise you, my voice will be a lot better. I promise you. So just keep up with us on media, social medias, our Facebook and our Twitter. DOAE Show on Twitter. Defenders of American Exceptionalism on Facebook. Keep up with us. I'm going to be posting a lot of stuff while we're out there. It'll be articles and pictures from some of our people. Excuse me, our bloggers and stuff we'll have on hand. It'll be stuff that I've taken and seen and done, going over stuff, and then obviously we'll be bringing you a show from there. Or I will be there, and Aaron will be where he's at, and we'll be making this happen. So, but just throw it out there. Keep it in mind. February 22nd to the 25th, I will be out there. So keep tuned for that. It's going to be an awesome, awesome time. So now brings us to an awesome part of the show, everyone's favorite part of the show, our hashtag Snowflake of the Week. It's just Aaron's favorite one. If y'all haven't figured that out yet, Aaron lives for this. If we didn't do anything else in this show, it would be the hashtag Snowflake of the Week.
Yeah, I have this special way of appealing to people by being a total jerk in my own special way.
No,
which I see it as loving, and other people just see it as
douchey.
Well. Yeah, I'm trying to edit myself, and I'm trying to think of the word that someone might use that won't have to be bleeped out. I'm trying to make this day a little bit easier on you now, and
thank you.
And it's kind of tough whenever I'm thinking of adjectives for myself because there are a lot of words, but they aren't exactly PG. So
we try to keep this a family show. Yeah. Doesn't always work out very well. I don't know who would be subjecting their family to this, but
probably nobody. And the ones that do are probably being investigated at this point for neglect or something.
Neglect, child endangerment.
Yeah. So you got me trying to sound like a frog now. One of the fluoride tapped frogs. So anyway, speaking of gay frogs. That's how you do a segue.
That was a good segue. I'll give that to you.
Speaking of gay frogs.
Speaking of gay frogs.
Michael Moore. Oh, yes. Our own personification of Jabba the Hutt.
I feel like I need to have something. Me waka run solo.
I'll be honest, I've never watched a Star Wars.
Really? Hold on, stop. You're going to give me crap for not having seen Sling Blade, but you're going to sit there and look me in my face and tell me you've never seen Star Wars?
You know what the difference is between Billy Bob Thornton and Star Wars?
A couple $100 million.
One of them was married to Angelina Jolie.
And failed. He failed. Star Wars is still going on.
And then he became Santa Claus.
Failed.
And then he became a drunk Santa Claus.
Twice.
Yeah. And that's probably one of my favorite Christmas movies, which really goes in depth as to what kind of person I am. So,
no, it tells you more what your Christmases look like.
That too. But we'll save that for the holiday special. So,
y'all look forward to that one.
Oh, yeah. I'll be wearing a Christmas hat and all. So, speaking of things that you don't want to see under your tree, Michael Moore come out and is still upset about the election that happened November 10th. Well, November 4th, wasn't it? It was November of last year.
The 20th.
No, 11th. Either way, it happened in early November.
The 11th. It was the 20th. Yeah. January 20th is when he was inaugurated.
Yeah. So, November of last year, and it's February, just to give you some context here, because apparently people are still losing their minds about whatever. So, Michael Moore comes out and says that the election was hacked, and the same talking points that everybody has been saying since November, and Donald Trump didn't rightfully win because he didn't win the popular vote. Newsflash, Michael Moore, who does documentaries for a living somehow, and people actually watch that crap, America is not a democracy. We are a constitutional republic. Therefore, our elections are not democratic elections. They're shaped in a democratic fashion, but we have the Electoral College. And the reason for that is because of the population that trying to think of the best way that I can Barney this up for everyone. The way that our population is in your bigger cities like Los Angeles, New York City, you have mostly Democratic run areas. Okay, mostly people in these bigger cities with the higher population areas are more liberal because that's their mindset. That's what they were raised up in. And typically the more rural areas, which where I'm living out here in the middle of Mayberry, tend to be more conservative. So obviously in these higher population areas, you're going to have nothing but Democrat. So if you take away Los Angeles and New York City, you have several million people whose votes don't count, and you pretty much kiss goodbye to any chance of Democrats being elected. But with the Electoral College, it actually evens it out and makes it fair for everyone. It equals out the representation of each area, not as much by population, if that makes any sense. I can deep dive a little bit further into this and get more thorough, but I really want to get back to talking about how stupid Michael Moore is.
Yay, stupid Michael Moore.
So he's still convinced that America is a democracy because he's a stupid filmmaker. And he says that Trump needs to step down and that Hillary Clinton needs to be our president. Even though she lost the election, how many times? Not the same election. She lost like 3 times.
At least.
And all the times that she's run for president still hasn't happened for her. Maybe people need to wake up to the fact that she's just a crappy candidate and that she's not fit for the position. And
no, hold on. But the good part is he okay, again, January 20th, the man was inaugurated, made him the 45th president of the United States, Donald Trump. And on Facebook, he said, quote, the so-called President Trump. What part of it is so-called? The fact that he's the president or the fact that he's Trump? Well, I'm confused.
And what's even funnier about it is during the primaries, Michael Moore come out and essentially said that Donald Trump is the voice of the American people because he's saying what the American people want to be heard.
I don't know.
So how do you come out and basically stump speech for someone and then turn around and say that they're not fit for the position that you said that they were basically perfect for?
I don't know. He's a special kind of stupid. Be perfectly honest with you.
Well,
Mr. Moore actually is not a fan. He doesn't even want Pence to kind of fill in and cover for everything. He wants the whole thing to be either to go based off of a popular vote kind of election or to do the election entirely all over again. All are pretty much impossible to do. I mean, I guess you can say it's not impossible to do, but we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it because you're a sore loser. You know, you want to whine and complain on Facebook. Oh, my God, I didn't win. It just hurts my feelings. Shut up.
And that's been the whole basis of all these complaints here lately, and that, of course, this is from a walking oxymoron as it is. Michael Moore's net worth of $50 million, but he's a socialist. Redistribution of wealth.
Yeah.
Let that sink in for just a second as to how ridiculously stupid someone can be to actually believe that socialism works, but you have over $50 million and however many houses and all this stuff, and it's just the hypocrisy that comes from these nitwits.
Oh, don't forget. He also lives, either lives or he's from, I can't remember off the top of my head, from Flint, Michigan.
Yeah. Oh, he doesn't live there now. He doesn't live there now.
Oh, I'm sure not.
He's from there.
Because everyone kept calling out the exact same thing that I'm doing, which is, hey, you make $50 million, you claim to be a socialist, why aren't you helping your community? Oh, I can't do that, because I won't have $50 million.
Well, that's just like, what's her name? J.K. Rowling that come out and said that, talking about the refugees need this, and this. Well, look at how many houses she has, and she's worth over $1 billion. Maybe instead of waiting for the government to do it, how about you put your $1 billion to use and do it yourself? But I digress. Let's get back to how stupid Michael Moore is, because there is so much material on this. We could do literally a week of shows on just how stupid and ridiculous Michael Moore is, which is exactly why he is our snowflake of the week.
Yes. He, again, I've said it earlier, I'm going to say it again. Michael Moore is a special kind of stupid.
Still complaining about an election that happened 3 months ago.
I don't.
And this is the crap that got Donald Trump elected in the first place.
Yep.
You want to know why Donald Trump is our president right now? This is exactly why he is our president right now. Because so many people, the pendulum has swung, and people are getting so angry, and they're yelling, and they're setting stuff on fire and throwing it at people because they didn't get their way. How is this productive in any way, shape, or form? It blows my mind that in 2017, when we're supposed to be this enlightened culture and this evolved culture, that we're resorting back to crap that wouldn't have been tolerated in the caveman days.
Yeah. We're supposed to be enlightened, but yet we don't know our ass from a hole in the ground.
Pretty much.
And it baffles me that these so-called enlightened adults, care about everybody, but they don't care about me. And I know that sounds rather selfish to say it like that, but let's be fair. I could go up to Mr. Moore. I don't know if I would ever want to, but I could.
That sounds more like a Skype.
Skype. Something involving satellites. But anyway, I could do something, and I could approach him with my no, that's like
that's meat.
No, you don't look. You do not approach Michael Moore with a Twinkie no more than you would walk up to a tiger with raw meat. It's no. You're gonna pull back a nub.
Yeah.
No, but my point is like he wouldn't tolerate anything, even remotely sitting down and having a conversation with someone like us.
Exactly.
And that's the part that, to me, is the part that irritates me. I'm the type of, if you want to be a douche, go be a douche. If you want to hate on people, if you want to have a problem against me because of, my beliefs aren't the same and then that's fine. But stop parading around like you're better than me because you supposedly care about all these people. I'm tired of it. I'm really sick and tired of it.
Well, and that's what's happening. That's what's happening with, honestly, both sides at this point, because people are shutting down the dialogue. Yep. There are no conversations anymore. I mean, there are, but they're very few and far between. And that's, honestly, I got to the point where I'm just trolling on the page, because some of the comments that pop up, I mean, whenever I post a video or something of people saying, "Oh, that person should die," or "That person's going to hell." How is that productive in any way, shape, or form?
Yep.
Where are we getting with this? How is it that people... And it's like people think that if they sit there and yell in someone's face and tell them that they're stupid, that the person's just going to look at them and say, "Oh, you're right. I have been stupid."
Yeah,
that's not how this works.
I've seen the light. I've learned from my wicked ways.
You have a good point. I am stupid.
I'm a moron. No, it doesn't happen like that. What happened to the days of You believe this. Well, I don't quite believe it this way. I believe it this way. Oh, okay. There's nothing
live and
we
let
can,
live.
Yeah. You live. You do it how you want to do it. I want to do how I want to do it. I'm not going to bother you. You don't bother me. We go about our lives. Everything's good. I would kill to go back to that. I'd kill to go back to that. Well, folks, we're going to take a break now, and we're going to come back here in just a little bit. You are listening to Defenders of American Exceptionalism on the Lanterns Media Network.
You are listening to the Lanterns Radio Network, where Americans come together to illuminate the truth. Turn it up loud and proud until the knob breaks off. Lanterns, illuminating the truth.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning back in with us. We are the Defenders of American Exceptionalism on the Lanterns Media Network. Believe it or not, I am Dylan. Over there is Aaron.
I wish your voice was like this all the time. I get a kick out of it. I know you think you're like Barry White, but I love it.
No, I feel like I'm Barry White until I actually feel I need to get a little bit of volume or sound behind it, and then it just kind of fades away.
And then you sound like a 14-year-old boy.
Exactly. You sound like I'm in puberty all over again.
Hi.
It's Mary here.
Yeah.
Come to take her out to dinner. Thank God we've hit the last segment of this show, so I can, go and gargle some melted lozenges or something and make my throat
at
feel
this
better.
point, it doesn't matter because after what happened this week, America is just pretty much gone. I mean, there are no businesses still running.
No.
Nobody still has a company. There is no internet. So I mean, this is just floating out there in the air. So
I don't know how we're making this right now. To be perfectly honest with you,
we're not.
This is nothing but a figmentation of your imagination.
Yeah.
Figmentation.
A
figmentation. You like that? Huh?
I need to write that down.
That's a good word. That's what happens when you have that Common Core education. What we're referring to is actually something I didn't find out about. Again, as I'd mentioned earlier in the show, I was sick for the beginning part of the week with the flu, and I literally climbed into bed on Monday afternoon when I got home, and I did not come out of bed until about Wednesday evening, or Thursday morning, one of them two. I can't remember which. And when I'd gone back to work, I'd heard on the radio, apparently there was what do they call it? I don't know what you want to call it. I call it
Day Without Immigrants.
Yeah, that's what they named it. But I'm talking about a protest, I guess.
I would call it a flop.
It's what it turned out to be.
Yeah,
but it was
honestly, I mean, giving it the name of a protest or an actual event really does an injustice for actual protests and actual events, because there were 19 people there that actually took part in this.
I have no earthly idea. This is what I'm talking about. Apparently there was a protest or a stand or a strike, or I don't know what you want to call it, but was set up to, they called it a Day Without Immigrants. Apparently the premise was all of the, quote, immigrants were supposed to stop working, not go into work, not go to schools, not show up at all, and show that the president and his, continued strong stance on immigration is the bad way to be because immigrants are what makes this country move. And I just get a little bit confused by this. The part that one of the parts that pisses me off to no end is this whole immigration thing. If someone came here legally, that means, you went through the proper channels, you did whatever the requirements are. I'm assuming it costs some money to file paperwork. There's all this.
Follow the law.
Follow the law to become legally allowed to be in this country. You have nothing to worry about. You have nothing to complain about. You have no reason to have been on a strike with other immigrants, air quote.
Well, and most of those people who actually took the proper steps and followed the proper channels to become a legal immigrant. And that's the thing, is that people need to decipher the difference between a legal and an illegal immigrant. And the difference between that is one of them followed the law and actually followed the rules and did what they had to do to become an American citizen. And the other one just kind of broke in and stayed around.
One of them jumped a fence. Or swam a river. Or
whatever they did. Even if they flew in and just overstayed their visa. They broke the law. Yeah. And that is illegal. And all of these people that are crying and saying, well, they're not all criminals. Yes, they are.
Yes, they are.
Technically.
The law states, here's the requirements to be allowed to be in America legally. Whether it's through a student visa, through a work visa, through dual citizenship, actual citizenship, excuse me, whatever. There's steps, there's requirements, there's ways you have to go about doing it.
Because if you walk into a house or a business that is closed, but you just go in anyways and you're hanging out, you're going to get arrested for breaking and entering.
No, because
it's illegal.
Forget even the closed part. Go into a my dad, excuse me, my dad works for a factory. Okay, I can go in because I'm his son, but there's only certain spots I can go to. I can only stay for a certain amount of time, blah, 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 blah. I fit what the visa would be for immigrants here. Aaron, however, could walk into the exact same place, no ties to it whatsoever, and they will not let him stay. They will make him leave. They won't even, if he has no business being there, he's not trying to get a job, doesn't know anybody there, they're not going to let him hang out. They're going to make him leave the building. They're going to make him leave the property. That's just what they do. And the same thing, I don't understand how that's okay to do that in a business, but you can't do that in a country.
And I guarantee you that, say hypothetically, that were the scenario, and I was there and they were telling me to leave, and I sat down and crossed my legs and started throwing a temper tantrum and said, but I didn't hurt anybody. Do you think they're going to look at me and say, well, you're right.
He's got a point.
Hurt anybody. Well, I guess you can stay today. That's not how it...
No.
What has happened to logic in our society? I mean, honestly.
Wait a minute. That's Logic. I missed that. My dog's name is Logic.
He must have ran away.
He did, ironically enough.
And everybody that has this stance that we're talking about is shouted down, and people claim that we're these evil hate mongers, and it couldn't be further from the truth, because honestly, I am a huge proponent of immigration, of the legal persuasion. Make it a little bit easier, make it a little cheaper at least. Let's make it to where it's not so expensive, because there are some people in other countries that want to come here and be productive and do things to make the world a better place. Yep. They're not just wanting to come here to see what they can get for free. They want to come here for the opportunities to make a better life for themselves and others.
That's how it used to be.
We promote that. We want that.
Yeah.
We want those people here.
That was how it used to be back in, the Irish flood and everything else that used to come in here. It was, people knew there was a better life here. Well, and they wanted that. And now it's, well, what can I get for free?
What even adds more to the irony here is that the people that are screaming that we're these hate mongers because we want people to follow the law, all of a sudden they're screaming that we need to be more like these other socialist countries that actually have a lot stricter immigration policies than what we follow. But all of a sudden, but we're still the bad guys. It's like it's never good enough. It's like no matter what, they always want to look for what the bad points of America are. And I don't understand that. How can you live in literally the greatest nation? I mean, there are so many different statistics that you can go through. And yes, there are things that we have kind of backtracked on. But this is the greatest nation on earth.
Oh, yeah.
There's a reason that this show is called Defenders of American Exceptionalism. And honestly, one show, we're probably just going to spend the entire show talking about that, why we called it that, and why we believe what we believe on this. But America is truly exceptional. We changed the world in so many different ways. But so many people just want to look at all the negatives and find reasons to complain about why America is so horrible and why capitalism is so evil. All the while, they're sitting in America on their iPhone playing around on social media. There's nothing makes any sense anymore. It's such a bearded Spock universe.
I don't know. It was downing. I'm trying not to laugh out loud. What we've become when you throw in the whole logic thing and everything else, we're the men dating and married to a psychotic woman. There's no winning. There's never a win. You're always going to be wrong. That's
2004 me.
Yeah, 2004, 2008, 2012 me. Yeah, same here. But seriously, it is so irritating that everybody just wants to vilify somebody because of what? Actually, honest to God, at this point, I don't even know what.
I have no idea. And it's
the whole protest.
People are seeking out these reasons to be mad.
Yep.
They
have nothing better to
outrage
do.
Culture. Yeah.
They have nothing better to do. They have to find something about somebody else that they need to get their panties in a wad about. And I'm sorry, I for one have way too much crap going on in my life to worry about you.
Well, and that goes back to what I was talking about earlier with people yelling in each other's faces and expecting them to all of a sudden wake up and to this epiphany that all of a sudden they've been wrong their entire life. And, well, this person's yelling at me, calling me an idiot. Maybe they have a point. That's not, I mean, if people would actually just step back and try to look at things logically and then look at the opposing voice and just sit down and listen to what they have to say and actually take the time to have a dialogue, a civil and constructive dialogue, and understand what other people think and why they feel the way that they feel, and take the time to try to understand that and explain to them why they believe what they... I mean, if people would just do this and try to look at things from other perspectives, then maybe we could actually see some change and actually come together.
Yeah, that would be great. The problem with that is I fervently believe that intellect as a whole is circular. And you're laughing, and I used to laugh at it. I'm fervently starting to believe that there will come a point, and there comes a point, and I believe we're at that point now, where you actually hit a point of being smart, and then you just become so smart that you become stupid.
Well, it's like the new 12-step program where apparently step 11 is like, step 10 is like, well, this person thinks something differently than me. Then apparently step 11 is, let's just set stuff on fire and break windows.
Make them agree with you, yeah.
Yeah, and then step 12 is look back and complain about all the rubbish that's left behind.
Or that you have to, pay to have it cleaned up. Exactly. It doesn't make any sense. We've gotten to a point in everything, and I fervently believe in just about everything. When you look at the whole climate change thing, when you look at this whole, the stuff with the quote unquote, the immigrants, the whole protest was planned and set up because, almost 700 immigrants were arrested last week across the country. Those were illegals, folks. They're not supposed to be here. They broke the law. And even if you consider, say, they were just working over at the gas station, or they were just doing this, or they were doing that, and they weren't hurting nobody, and blah, blah, blah. That may be so. But then people came in here in order to be functioning. They're either not paying taxes, that's tax evasion. I'd be in jail for that. I'm a citizen. I would be in jail for that.
Well, okay? And here's just another big dose of irony, is that the people that are complaining about that happening are likely the ones that say that Obama was so great, all the while ignoring the fact that Obama deported more illegal immigrants than any other president in American history.
Yep, he did. And nobody...
Google it.
They didn't... Google that junk, son. No, for real. He did. He did his fair share. They just didn't promote it and push it because... that actually would have made him look bad. There's a lot of things that he did that, a lot of people weren't aware of. But the point goes is they broke the law. They were here against the ways to get it. They're again, we're going to go back to the bang list. First thing they did wrong, they got in here the wrong way. There's a list and steps and criteria that they have to meet in order to be here. Boom, they screwed that. Now, once being here, they're not paying taxes. That's tax evasion. There's another crime. Then you throw in order to move around, had to get fake Social Security numbers. That is
fraud.
Well, fraud, yeah. It's what's the other word for it?
Identity theft?
Thank you. Identity theft. Yeah. Again, another felony. Okay.
And that's the thing, is that you don't even have to go that far.
Well, no, you don't. But here's the problem with that gets me is everyone goes, oh, well, it's not the same as killing. It's not the same as stealing. Well, maybe not. But the reason why we're in the crap hole that we're in, the reason why all of us are at each other's throats and peeing in each other's cornflakes, treating each other like garbage and not listening to each other is because that line that we used to always follow is now gone. It's no longer black and white, it's gray. You know what I mean? We're sitting here going, well, yes, it's wrong, but it's not as bad as this. No, we're not supposed to be comparing ourselves to each other, or comparing this crime with this crime. If it's a crime, it's a crime, it's a crime. What's right is wrong, or what's right is right, what's wrong is wrong, period. That doesn't change. And we've got to go back to that. That is why, me personally, I'm doing the show, is because I want to help remind people that we need to get back to it. You know what? I'm a Christian. And something that we have to learn, I have learned, a lie is still a sin. A lie is just as bad as murder. Sorry, other people will listen to that and go, "Oh, you're out of your mind. That there's no way." Maybe not. We can argue and debate that all day long. To me, it is the same. I look at, which means I'm not going to any sooner murder you than I would lie to you. What's wrong is wrong. If it's wrong, it's wrong. Doesn't matter how you slice it. Doesn't matter how you cook it. Doesn't matter how you bake it and serve it to your family members. It's wrong.
And Christianity shows that wrong is wrong. There are no tiers of it.
There's no exactly.
They're all equal to each other.
Yeah. There's no loopholes. There's no, oh well, it's kind of okay. It's kind of no. Everything, it's wrong. And that's how the Constitution and everything, that's how the Constitution and everything was formed. That's how laws are actually formed. It's this. Now, you can have the different varying degrees and blah, blah, blah if you want to make yourself feel better about yourself. Punishment. Yeah, but the crime is still a crime. A felony is still a felony. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I got blocked on Facebook for having this conversation with someone, but...
No, good times, good times. Well, folks, it's about that time again, and thank God, because I think my voice is finally getting ready to go entirely. We appreciate you listening to us and sticking it out. Again, I apologize. I promise you, next week my voice will be much better.
I have more fluoride.
Yeah, I'm going to... the globalist. We are the see, almost lost.
We are the Defenders of American Exceptionalism. You can find us on Facebook on the page Defenders of American Exceptionalism. We also have the group of the same title. You can find us on Twitter at DOAE Show. You can find me on Twitter at AFVETTE03. You can find him at Dylan Lyles. And obviously, you know our names, and you can find us on Facebook too. So
there you go. See, I've gotten my voice back a little bit. Thank you for the save, folks. We appreciate you listening to us. We are the Defenders of American Exceptionalism. We will see y'all next week. Oh, don't forget, we will be at CPAC. I will be at CPAC. Keep an eye out on everything. We'll see y'all next week. Bye-bye.